Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, 50 Facebook Sales in 50 Weeks, with your MAPS coach, Dina Watson. Just to let you know, we will be sending out a recording after the webinar has been completed. We want to thank you for your participation and your interest today. Dina, go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. Thanks you so much. And thanks you guys for joining me. I know it's a Friday afternoon, and I trust that all of you have had your lunch and you are focused and ready to pay attention. So first, I want to thank you guys for interest in the program and interest in this webinar. As you can see, this is a group program that we coach at MAPS, which is how to take Facebook and harness the power of social media to sell homes. Now, I don't want you to tune out because I do know you guys are here for some value. And I promise that by the end of this webinar, any questions you might have had around the program or any value items that you could have come here for, that I trust you will have those. And you'll be able to at least take something out of this free webinar and put it in place in your business today. So I want to give you a little bit of background about who I am and why am I here talking to you about this. And can you really sell 50 homes on Facebook in a year? So my name is Dina, as you heard. I am a MAPS coach, which basically means that I coach agents all over the country with Keller Williams to build their businesses through various ways, not just social media. I'm also a military spouse. My husband is currently active duty, and we are located at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, which is where I started my team and where this journey of selling 50 homes on Facebook began and where it still continues. So as a military spouse, if any of you guys know any of us, you know we move a lot. And you know that we usually have to uproot ourselves and our lives and our families and start over in a place we've never been. So after about 2 times of that happening to me in 2 separate states in all different time zones, I got kind of fed up of starting my business over and over and spending the money and investing and being on different teams and things like that. And I realized one day, literally sitting in Panera, all these people are on Facebook asking questions and no one is answering them that they can trust. Most of the people answering those questions were people wanting to sell them something. And I thought to myself, how can I monetize this and turn it into something that would be a huge business and moneymaker for me while making sure that these people are also taken care of because I truly care. So the idea behind selling homes on Facebook was out of necessity. It wasn't something that one day I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm kind of good at this. I'll do this. It was, I don't know anyone. I'm about to move across the country, literally from Colorado to North Carolina, and I know no one. I've never been there. I've been there on vacation, and yet I don't know anyone. So one thing I want to throw out there is, even if this is not your story, and you are just new to real estate, new to the market, or you just don't sell enough homes to support your goals and dreams, and you've not yet tapped into this, this can work for everyone. And the one thing I want to make sure that you guys know is that even if you're not starting over and you're starting a new venture in your business, whether it's a new source of business or whether it's a new idea that you have, it's all new, no matter if you're new in real estate or not. So one of the things that I decided to do was start a group. Now, at the time, this was probably in 2013, at the time, groups weren't really well known. And then somewhere between then and now, groups became this pesky thing that people decided to add you to that you didn't have a choice but to go into. And now, thankfully, Facebook has fixed that, and we have to add ourselves into the group when a request is sent. And a lot of people don't know how to monetize that, right? So I went on this journey to figure out, how do I get in front of all these people because I don't know anyone? My answer? Start a community group in Facebook. And since then, we have about 6,500 people in that group that actively use it, and none of them are realtors except me. And so some people in a few classes before this have kind of came into this program with the expectation that I'm going to make you spend money. I'm not, because the 50 homes that I sold in Facebook in that first year, I didn't spend $1 to get any of those. I literally had a $55,000 IRS bill because I had no write-offs that year. I didn't have anything to say I spent money on, so I couldn't write it off, right? So if you're coming to this and you're thinking, how can I do that without spending a crap ton of money? You can. I've done it. And in the full program, I'm going to do step-by-step how that works and how you can do that while choosing to spend money or not. But for now, I'm going to give you something you can take away from this webinar today and put into place. Look around you on Facebook and see, is my neighborhood represented well? For me personally, the answer was no. There was no community group for my neighborhood. And some people will say, well, why do you care? Well, I care because if I'm the one that controls the group, I'm the one that controls the conversation. And I'm the one that approves or disapproves anybody else with a real estate license coming into that group. I'm the one that controls the rules. And if you're in control of the conversation, you're winning, right? And some people say that if you're talking, you're not in control. And guess what, you guys? I don't talk a lot in any of these groups. I listen. I ask questions. I engage with them. And so the first place I want you guys to start is to look around and see if your school, if you are someone who has children, is your children's activity represented in form of a group on Facebook where you can talk to each other? Is your neighborhood? Is your city? Is your small micro niche that we call certain areas or certain sides of town that you may work on if you're in a larger city, is that represented in forms of a group on Facebook? That's step one. Step two, something you can take away from this as part of this equation is, if it is, are people talking to each other? So join the group and go observe. What I've observed here in my own market is that people who have went in and tried, I know as a MAPS coach I'm not supposed to use that word, they tried to recreate what I've built, and here's why they can't. Because they're allowing other people in the group that are hounding those in the group. So what I mean by that is, in my particular group, I don't let realtors or mortgage professionals or title company reps or attorneys in that group. And the reason is because when you do that, these people who are asking genuine questions become chum in the waters. And you'll see people hounding them. I'll message you. If you've ever been on Facebook in a referral group, you know exactly what I'm talking about. One person asks a simple question and they're bombarded, and it almost makes them not want to talk. And that's what ends up happening. So if there is a group, are people actually talking to each other, or are realtors or mortgage people just killing them anytime they ask a question? If they're not being really well engaging, you have an opportunity there, okay? Next thing I want you to do, if you don't feel that things are well represented or well run, is start your own. And in the program, we'll talk through, in the full program, we'll talk through all the different ways you can get the group out there. But for something you guys can do right now, and the way that I actually sold those 50 homes was through groups. And I'm starting this webinar that way because I don't think that a lot of people understand the power of a group or what the difference is. So in the program, we talk a lot about, in the full program, we'll talk about groups, we'll talk about pages, we'll talk about your personal Facebook wall, we'll talk about things that people don't understand there's a purpose for them. So I have the one question I get the most is, I'm posting on my business like page. I started a business page. My association said I had to, or my office said I needed to, or it's just something somebody told me I should do. So they start this Facebook like page or this Facebook business page, and no one's talking to them. They're putting information out. They're hustling. They're really doing it, and nothing's happening. The reason that nothing is happening is because that's not the place for a conversation to happen. That's kind of like the bus bench or the billboard. It's where you're going to market to the world what you're doing. Out of a business page is where you start advertising and things like that we also get into in the group, in the full program. And yet another thing that I want you guys to walk away with today, value-wise, is if you have the right idea and you're putting it in the wrong place, nothing will happen for you. So here's some key differences. If you're wanting to do marketing and pay for it out of the ads manager, or if you're just wanting to talk about your business, a business-like page is for that. If you're wanting to talk to other people and have a conversation that people can help each other and you can help them, that's a group. Now, I know some people have groups for their clients. I know some people have groups for past clients, and they're all together so their past clients can meet. I would also highly encourage that. So I want to walk through and tell you a little bit about what is this MAPS group coaching program. And the first thing I want you to know is if you're not at Keller Williams, you can still take group. Now, you can't have a MAPS mastery coach and you can still take these group programs. So I don't want you to tune out if you're not at KW. In the program, which is 8 weeks long, in the full program, it's 8 weeks long, and you're going to learn strategies, tools, some of the skill set and mindset you need to build a huge brand on social media if you choose. And if you can help build your own brand, you can turn that into an opportunity for business for you at levels you've never imagined and for a lot less money than you're currently paying for Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, ads on the back of the shopping cart. We're talking pennies on the dollar if you actually choose to spend money. I'm also going to walk you through step by step. The way this is set up is kind of a foundation at the beginning. And then we're going to build the house on top of that, one step and one layer at a time. And I'm going to help provide the guide for that and help make sure that you understand everything from building a business page to what we call attraction marketing. Some people don't know at first what attraction marketing is. And essentially what that means is that you are putting yourself out on Facebook in such a way that people want to come to you and work with you. You're having those come list me calls. You're having those, hey, I want to buy this house at this address, and I'm already outside. Through attraction marketing and making sure that you're sending out a congruent message to what your brand is supposed to be saying, people will come to you, and we'll show you all of that in the full program as well. We're going to survey some topics ranging from how to select the correct colors for your branding if you don't already have branding, because I don't know if you guys know, but there's such a thing as the psychology of color. This is another thing I want you to take away from this today. So in the first part of the program, in week 1 actually, we start talking about branding, and is your brand what clients want? So I've gone and done the research, and another thing to think about are the 3 top things that people say, and this is not just in real estate, that people say they want to see from their brands online. And this could be Coca-Cola, this could be Apple, this could be Amazon, this could be you, right? Because you are a brand, make no mistake about it. They want honesty first and foremost. They want you to be friendly, and they want you to be helpful. And why I bring this up is because the other things that influence buyers and sellers' decisions sometimes are not conscious ones. And so we'll talk about what colors in your branding pull out what emotions from people, okay? And that's one of the things that we will go through. And just to give you guys an idea, it is broken down in kind of explaining in each brand what that looks like. So for instance, Target, the color red. The color red has a direct effect on impulse buys, right? So if your branding is a quantity conversation, the color red in your brand might be worth it. And then we also talk about purple. So purple is the color of luxury. Purple is also colors that are calming. And so we will show in this full program all of the correlations between who your target audience is and what you're making them feel by the colors that you're putting in front of them in your presentation, in your marketing online, and otherwise. Another thing that we are going to talk about is how to use all of these tools. Here's the thing, you guys. Facebook has so many tools. It's just crazy. And sometimes you don't know exactly what to do or what tools to use or any of that. And some people don't even realize that the things you're paying thousands of dollars a year in your business for, like postcards or farming or mailers, can be done on Facebook for, like, I'm talking $20 to reach 1,000 people, 2,000 people, and you're spending $1 a postcard, $1.50 a postcard. So you're talking $20 to do it on Facebook versus $1,000 or more to do it in print. And that's something that also in the full program we'll walk through step by step how to do that. But that's an idea for you even today. Could you take what you're mailing someone and send it through Facebook? And I'll show you how to do that as far as the full program goes. That's something that we'll walk through. But just for you guys today to take something home with you and think about is how could you, we're talking right now a lot at Keller Williams and even at MAPS and at Mega Camp if you were there about profit. How do you run a profitable business? And things like this are ways to do that. You're sending the same message to the same group of people for a lot less money, which means you get to keep a lot more. So part of the Facebook conversation is, how do we sell more homes? And the other part of it is, how do I digitally do things like market to expireds or farm online and save myself thousands or tens of thousands of dollars a year? Or how do I use that as a supplement? So these are all things that you can do through the tools in Facebook. And we're going to survey through all of those topics. I do also want to encourage you guys, if you have questions along the way, to pop them into the questions box, okay? At the end of this, there will be about 5 minutes where I'll have time to answer a couple of questions from there, so just go ahead and pop them in there. Here's a little bit about the session layout if you guys are actually interested in taking the full program and not just listening to the couple of value items on here. Here's the layout. It's 8 weeks long. They're an hour a week, and they are webinars just like this. So you're going to come on here, you'll get the recording. So if you can't make it that week, that's okay. You have 2 months after this program is over to access all the recordings and the training materials. It's basically going to go by step, 8 weeks in a row, about building everything from starting with the page that you're building all the way to branding, how to place ads, how to digitally door knock, how to do digital just listed and just sold campaigns on Facebook and expireds. And then we're going to talk about content marketing. How do you market what's going on in your community and become the agent of choice based on what you're sharing with the world? So I'll give you an example. We have a blog, and one of the content marketing things that we are doing is the Guide to Fayetteville, like Guide. I live in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So the Guide to Fayetteville. And each month, we're going through a different guide for a different set of people. Last time we did the grandparents guide. So what are things that the grandparents can do with their grandkids when they come to town? And we walked through and looked at different areas they could go, different places they could take these kids, and told them how much it would cost. Now we're doing the girls' night out guide. And so all the cool things that girls can go do together. We've done the daddy-daughter guide. We've done the mother-son guide to Fayetteville. So these are all ideas that you can have that if marketed well through a blog, you become the digital mayor of your city. So you're the person going to the ribbon cuttings. You're the person shouting it from the rooftops, and people are listening to you because you're helping them understand the city they live in. So these are ways that we would help you content market. Another thing we're going to talk about is social media best practices. So during the duration of the course, we're going to make sure that you understand what are the things you should be doing and shouldn't be doing, should and shouldn't be doing, and should and shouldn't be posting on social media to get the end result that you're looking for, which is more business through online. We're also going to talk about the best and worst times to post and make sure that you understand what that looks like so that the marketing efforts you have are capitalized on. So just to give you a tiny little bit of value here, just to make sure everyone is on the same page. One of the best times to post on social media, this is based on just raw data. This has nothing to do with your community, so I'll explain that in a minute. But some of the best times to post on social media are Wednesdays and Thursdays between 4 and 6 p.m. Wednesdays and Thursdays between 4 and 6 p.m. Now, you're going to have some emotional intelligence here. The reason I bring this up, because in my community, people go into work earlier and they get off earlier. In a military environment, you have these guys going in at, let's say 5:30 a.m., and they might be off by 2. So if you're posting at 8 a.m. and these people are already at work, I have enough emotional intelligence to know that they're not seeing my message because they're working. And so if you live in a more, I'll say executive type of community, that might be different for you. So make sure you take your personal situation and weigh it against the data that's given. But overall, that's the best time to post on Facebook for engagement, for people to actually have a conversation with you. Another thing that we're going to go into in terms of best practices is when to be controversial and when it's considered a micro niche, if you will. So a micro niche would be things that are normally considered polarizing topics. So think about this. One time of year where most people purge their friends lists, when? And I want you to think about this. When do you think that is? Election season. Because they realize the people that they thought they liked to follow have different views from them. And so one of the things that we talk about in this full program in terms of best practices are when it's okay to post things like that based on what you think the result would be. So, for example, one of the things that I have in the program is talking about politics. And it's also talking about gun control. It's also talking about other controversial topics that people bring up. And there are such a things as micro niches or micro niche, depending on what part of the country you're in, to where you're only wanting to work with people who believe what you believe. Write this down. If you've never watched the video, go onto YouTube and Google Simon Sinek's TED Talk. Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K, TED Talk. And he talks about starting with why. Starting about why. Because when people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So people don't care that you sell real estate. They want to know why you're selling real estate. And I have a mastery client who, for example, she and her husband own a gun store. And we were talking about the other day on Facebook, when she's presenting to people, should she tell them that? And I asked her, well, let's say you do. And you have an audience that half of them don't want anything to do with guns. They don't like them. They don't want to be near them. They can't stand it. What is your risk? And we talked through it. And I said, okay, what's the potential reward for people knowing that you are the go-to person in your city for all gun owners? And through weighing the options, we realized if she just went all in with that micro niche of gun owners, she would make a lot more money and have a whole lot higher connection with those people. So make sure that you think about that. Next, I'm going to also let you know how to set up your Facebook page to make sure that you're getting the most eyeballs on it and they're staying there. They're not coming to find you and then they're leaving. Here's a thing that's changing, right? And it just changed actually. So placing ads on Facebook used to be where you could place a housing ad and you could place it in a mile radius. You guys can't do that anymore. Facebook has changed the rule. They said it would happen in September and it did. Recently, now the minimum for an ad on Facebook for housing is 15 miles. And in some cities, 15 miles is on another planet. You're an entirely different lifeline away from where you live. And in some cities, 15 miles, you're still driving through hayfields and green grass. So one of the things in this particular launch of the program that we're going to go into is how to overcome that. Because I'll tell you, when that happened, I was really having my drunk monkey and my alarms go off saying, what's the point? And there are ways to overcome that. So we will get through some of those things as well. So over the duration of this the full program, the 8-week one, you'll learn how to place ads, where to place them, what's the difference between an ad and a boosted post, because there's a very big difference, how to do ads in your Facebook Messenger inboxes so that when people are on their Messenger inboxes, they're seeing your ads, all the way from ads around video. We're going to talk about the difference between the tactics you need to attract sellers, the tactics that you need to attract buyers, and how to place lead generation forms. So just so you guys know, if you are at Keller Williams, you can do a lot of this through command. And once we get into this next launch, we're going to start revising some of the content to work around command. And yet you can still do this if you're not at KW, just in the Facebook Ads Manager. However, one of the things that we are going to be talking about is through the duration of the 8 weeks of this program is building up into why are you even placing the ad? What's the goal? Once somebody responds to the ad, where do they go? And there are different things. Like let's say you're not in command yet or you're not at Keller Williams. One of the tools that I personally was using up until recently was a tool called Leads Bridge, LEADSBRIDGE, Leads Bridge. Leads Bridge is basically the bridge between your Facebook page and the lead forms all the way to your CRM, and it connects the two. So if you don't yet have a way to get leads out of these ads you're placing into your CRM so you can keep up with them, that's one that I would make sure that you look into when you hang up from this. Okay? There are some additional perks of going through the program. One, I'm using Facebook currently in my business. So things that change like the radius around the homes and all of that, I will help notify you of. There is a closed Facebook group for everyone who's ever gone through the program to share ideas, to ask for questions, ask for help, talk to each other, and help build each other up. You will never be removed from that group. So if for nothing else, you take the program to get in the Facebook group, you're going to get at least the value that you spend on the program out of that. Anybody who's ever gone through the program is in there and they will remain there forever. Another thing is, in addition to the webinar, we will also be doing live mini trainings. So each week on Fridays, actually at the time before this, so 1 o'clock Eastern, there is a 30-minute live question and answer. So the program is one day, and then a few days later, I do a live check-in just to see how you guys are doing and to see if you have any questions, if you need any help. The other additional perk is obviously because this is a Facebook program and you'll be in my group on Facebook, you'll always know how to get a hold of me if you need anything. Additionally to that, there is twice a month where we do a deep dive into one small topic on Facebook, and it's based on what you guys ask questions about. And so that will go on, like I said, in that program for as long as time allows, and you'll never be removed from that. So here are the details. People are like, what is this program? And I trust that you guys got some value out of just a couple of tips for your 30-minute investment here. Even if you don't take the program, I hope you got something. We launched the next program, and it will be the final one for the year on October 3rd. It is at 3:30 Eastern each week for 8 weeks after that. It is a $198 investment into the program. And like I said, that lets you stay in the group forever. It goes through the program and gets you all the tools and et cetera. Now, if you only sold one house from anything that you learned either on this 30-minute webinar or on any of the group's webinars for the 8 weeks, you'd make back in any market at least 10 times your money. So I want you guys to put in the questions box if you have any kind of questions about this. And if you want to get a hold of me on Facebook, you can as well. My name is Dina Watson, DeanaWatson. And I run a team called the Signature Group. So if you see that name in the Signature Group, you got the right person. So I'm going to switch this over and answer a couple questions and go from there and let you guys go about your Friday. So one question is, do you cover Instagram as well? Yes. So there are some parts of this program that will have things about Instagram, but majority of this program is based in Facebook. But we do talk about how you can advertise in both. Yeah, so it says, will this webinar teach us the command part of Facebook? Christine, I touch on command in this one. However, it is something that through the live trainings weekly after the program that we will go into command. And the reason is because command changes so quickly that if I chose to have command integrated into the actual week part of the program, I'd have to change it every single week. So we do go into command in the Facebook Live group, but the 8-week steps of the program cover command a little bit, but the deep dive is in the lives. The office is located 10 miles from where I live. Yeah, you can still do that, Carlos. That's fine. And honestly, since you're in a similar community, it would probably be easier for you to copy me than anybody else. So good for you. Do I need and how do I use the business page? So Mark, yes, we will teach you that in the first part of the program, how to build the page and how to use it. You will need to come to the class with an idea of what you want your business page to look like. And if you don't have that, we can definitely help you. I think please spell my name again. Okay, Dina. So D as in Delta, E-A-N-A, Watson, W-A-T-S-O-N, normal way to spell Watson. And my team is the Signature Group Realty team at Keller Williams Realty. That's the name of the page. Amy said, I'm sold. How do I sign up? So if you want to sign up for the program now, you can go on to the MAPS group coaching Facebook page, or you can go into Google and type in 50 Facebook sales in 50 weeks MAPS, M-A-P-S. It'll bring up the MAPS group program website, and there's a button that you push that says sign up now. Or if you can't figure that out, just send me a message on Facebook and I will send you the link. Will you discuss how to get an ROI from a boosted ad? Yeah, so we will talk about one of the last parts of the program is how do you measure all of this and how do you change what you're doing based on the results that you see? Because to be quite honest with you, I could post something and you could post something 10 states over and you'll have the same picture, the same words, yet the audience is different. So we will talk about how to analyze all of that and make sure you're getting an ROI. Bold training starts at the same time. Is it possible to do both programs at once? Laura, it is entirely possible. Here's what I would ask you. Are you committed to doing both at once? Bold is a lot. And here's the thing. I'm in Bold right now, and I'm coaching this at the same time. So can you? Yes. It's a matter of are you committed to. And like I said, at the end of the program, so 8 weeks from now, you will have an additional 2 months to go through the content if you miss a class. So if it's something you want to do, that's great. Aaron, this is group, so this is not one-on-one. However, I am a MAPS coach, so if you want one-on-one, I can help you with that as well. You would just have to reach out to me separately. All right, you guys, I know there were some questions on here that didn't get answered. However, I am going to be respectful of your time and hop off of here at 2, which is in 1 minute. So I'm going to answer one more question. However, if you didn't have your question answered, I want to answer them. So please reach out to me on Facebook, send me a message, and I will answer the question. Does this program work alongside Bold 2.0? Diana, I'm excited that you asked. Yes, it does. And MAPS has actually challenged all of us who have group programs to revamp them to be 2.0 versions next year. So that is something that we are going right alongside Bold and doing that. But for now, we do talk about some of the content in Bold and how to use that on Facebook. Like, for example, DTD2. So DTD2 is do the database too. It's how you work through all of the people in your database to get your quarterly calls done every 3 months. And we talk about how you can also do that on Facebook. So yes. All right, you guys, I'm going to hop off of here. Thank you so much for coming in. You will receive an email with the recording here from GoToWebinar. And I hope to see you all in the program on October 3rd. I will chat with you soon. Have a fantastic weekend.